Hi guys, as a migrant living in the UK, there are some certain jobs you need to give a closer look at before you choose such a job for a long time career path that you want to tow on the long run. Because some of these jobs, they are high paying jobs in their own right, but it comes with so many stress and so many challenges. As a migrant coming in from a third world country, it will be difficult for you to be able to stamp your feet on such a career and be able to do well on the long run. So you will not want to choose a career path that will cause you much problem and stress to adapt to on the long run. That is why you need to stick with me to the end of this video to get the full information as a migrant living in the UK, so you don't make the same mistake some of our contemporaries have made in the past. Hi guys, welcome and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are coming across this channel for the first time, in this channel I give latest updates about UK and UK immigration, ways you can study abroad, and ways you can migrate through the skilled workers migration route. So if this content look exciting to you and look like something that interests you, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Give a thumb up so YouTube can recommend this content to a wider audience, and you can as well leave your thoughts on the comment box. So guys, without further ado, let's get straight to business. As a migrant living in the UK, there are some certain jobs you need to pay a closer look at before you choose such a job on a long-time plan for a career progression. Because some of these jobs have their own challenges. As a migrant coming in from a third world country where customer service is still done on hybrid, you need to struggle to make an impact in this regard. Because customer service job in the UK, 90% of the customer service job in the UK are on a remote and working pattern. What that implies is most of the customer complaints and inquiry are done through call center. Gone are the days when customer will leave their home or their place of work to come to the office to make an inquiry. What is being done at the moment is on a call center where customers can be at the comfort of their home or offices and put a call across to complain or to make an inquiry about a particular product or services they are about keen into, or a dissatisfaction on the product they are currently using. As a migrant living in the UK, customer service role is one role you need to take a critical look at if you are choosing a career path on a long-time basis. It's one job that it tends to give you time to do other things you want to do because it's most of the time on a remote working pattern. As a migrant, it tends to be difficult for you to be able to adapt fully on a customer service role working on a remote and working pattern, because most of the customers that call to either complain or inquire about a product don't care the role you are handling in that organization, because most of the time as a customer service officer, your role is to get complaints or inquiry from the customer and channel it to the appropriate department or desk that can give a final solution to such a complaint or inquiry. Most especially when you are dealing with a dissatisfied customer, right? It tends to pour out its anger and frustration on you as the customer service officer. So, as a customer service officer, you need to have this high temperament and patience, tolerance to be able to absorb whatever aggression the customer is putting on you. And most of these customers tend to be expecting a solution, instant solution from you, even when the solution does not lies in your desk. What your idea is to pacify the customer and channel their complaint to the right authority or the right desk that will give a final solution to whatever the complaint is. But this customer doesn't want to know about all of this. What they want is they've researched their complaint to you or their dissatisfaction. They want you to give an instant solution or response to whatever they want to get out of it. So you need to be at the top of your game at all the time. So with this, you tend to receive lots of calls, lots of threat, lots of insults, pressure on you to give response, to give solution to things that are not within your power. One of the most frustrating part of the remote working pattern at customer service role is that at the end of each call, the customer tend to get a mail for them to rate your performance, right? The service they've gotten from you as the customer service officer. And somebody that is already aggrieved over a service and put a call across to you, expecting to get a solution, right? Instant solution from you, and you are telling he or she to wait, or you are trying to assign that complaint to the right authority, the right desk to handle. This customer will never be satisfied with such a response, because what he or she wants is for you to give an instant response or solution to whatever complaint they are coming to register. So many a times you tend to get poor rating from the customer that called in to register their complaint or inquiry. Accent is another bottleneck you need to struggle with. Yet, most of us speak good English, but our accent is different from that of the British people. And trust me, most of us are too old to be able to change our accent from what we are used to the British accent. And when you are relating to some of these persons that tend to misunderstood what you said based on the accent, that become another bottleneck. So, as a migrant living in the UK, if you are planning of taking a customer service role on a long time career progression, you need to put some of this into cognizance. It's really draining because you tend to struggle with so many things, struggle on the job, struggle to try and put the customer on the same page with you. And at the end of the day, you keep getting a poor rating from this customer. Trust me, a customer that is already dissatisfied about a product that is not the fault of the customer service officer, right? We tend to pour all the anger on you, and at the end of the day give you poor rating because you're able to give a solution that doesn't lies within your text or within your purview, right? You want that complaint they are registering to get an instant solution from you, which is not within your power. So at the end of the day, you get a poor rating from most of these persons you've attended to for the day. And by the time you keep getting a poor rating, the organization will think you are not doing that which you are supposed to do. Unknown to them, it's not fault that is within your control, but customers are always right. And the organization will want to continue with an employee that is continually getting a low rating. So, guys, if you are thinking of going into a long-term career plan on a customer service role, you need to give it a deep consideration before you can dive into it. The second job I'm talking about as a migrant living in the UK, if you are planning to go into this job, which is the teaching profession, is something you need to pay a closer look at before you decide if you want to take it as a long-term career. The teaching job is one of those jobs that's also a high-paying job because the minimum you will get as a teacher here in the UK it's from £35,000 per annum, which is something that is decent. But becoming a teacher here in the UK as a migrant coming from probably a third world country is something that is draining. You will not want to choose a career path that you'll be struggling to see how you can make impact. And at the end of the day, you can even jettison that idea of choosing such a career on a long time basis to a different career path. So, as a teacher here in the UK, there are some certain um, norms that is expected of you. Also, considering the accent barrier, don't quote me wrong, we speak good English and we also write good English. But the accent is something you also need to put into cognizance because most of the time you teach young children and young adults. So you tend to come to their level and try to communicate to them to their own understanding. And sometimes if you are speaking with some of these British people, the younger ones, your accent become a barrier. They tend to keep asking you to come again because what you are trying to communicate to them, they tend to understand it in a little bit different because of the accent barrier. So, as a teacher here in the UK, the standard is very high. It's not what we are used to back home in our own country. So, you need to adapt fully and adhere strictly to how the teaching norms are here in the UK. So, you don't want to choose a career wherein you try to correct a child and the child will go home the next day and tell the parent he or she is not coming to school. And when they acquire, you tell them you shouted at them or you punish them for not doing the right thing you expected them to do You cannot force them to learn. You cannot compel them to do something when they are not willing to. So it's really difficult. It's one job migrants struggle to make an impact because the way we are used to teaching in our own country is quite different from here. You cannot compel a child to study because if the child goes home the next day and said he's not coming to school and report to his parent that you shouted at them, shouting at them not because you hate them, just because you want them to focus and do what it's right for them to do, that become an issue, right? Few months back, I come across a video where a migrant who is a teacher in the UK quit a job because a parent come to the school to complain that his child now has two parents, now has two mom. So because when the child got home, he asked the mom, "Who is my mommy?" Because in school, the lady called the child, "Oh, my son." This is what we do in our own place, right? We cannot say, "Oh, young my son, how are you?" You are not the biological parent of that child, but probably the child did something that is right, and you just call, "Oh, my son, how are you?" The child went home and told the mom, who is his real mom, because his teacher called him his son. The mother of the student came to school to report to the head teacher that a son teacher called his son a son. So that become an issue. And when the son got home, asked the mom, "Who is my real mom? How come I have two mom? My teacher just called me a son." So that become an issue. For that single reason, a panel of inquiry was set up and the lady was actually suspended while investigation was ongoing. So after the investigation, she was actually recalled back to the system, but she was demoted from the position she was holding as a class teacher to just like a support teacher. When the teacher is not around, any teacher is not around, she will go there to cover up for the teacher. So she doesn't have any status of being a teacher of a particular class. But with all other stuff that has unfolded before then, she just have to quit teaching job. This is something she has been doing in her own country for close to 20 years. It's something she has passion in doing. But when she came to the UK, it becomes something different because, and trust me, she's very good at what she is doing. But this incident and some others that she didn't mention make her to quit that role. It's not easy. I know how kids here in the UK are, how they are being raised. You cannot shout at a child if you are teaching and the child is playing. You cannot just raise your voice or try to correct the child to be focused and do the right thing, because the child can go home and tell the parent, "This is what you did to him," and the parent will not take it lightly. The first thing we do, report to the head teacher, and it can even go as far as reporting to safeguarding and other child support team. So as a teacher, if you are planning of choosing the teaching profession as a long-term career, as a migrant living here in the UK, you need to put this as a consideration. The teaching profession in the UK, it's very good, but for a migrant, you will struggle to make an impact. And if you are not careful, you might run into trouble for an honest mistake or something you never thought will land you into trouble, right? Because dealing with kids here in the UK is one of the most difficult things you will ever think of, because as a migrant, they tend to misunderstand you. Whatever you say or whatever you do, they tend to misunderstand you. This is something I've experienced time and time without number. The younger ones tend to misunderstand you, and once they misunderstand you, you never can tell who they will relate it to. So as a teacher here in the UK, right, you need to be at the top of your game, and you need to be smart, you need to be tolerant, and you need to work hard to be able to learn the tenets of what is expected of you as a teacher. So guys, we've come to the end of this video. You can leave your thoughts in the comment box what you think about this job. And if you know of any job that you feel will be difficult for migrants to be able to make an impact here in the UK, you can as well leave it on the comment box and I will talk about it in my subsequent video. So guys, you can leave a thumb up to this video. If you have not subscribed to join the amazing Green family, please, you can subscribe to this channel so you can join the amazing Green family. So see you in my next video.